Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Back on my bull. Back on my cool. I'm turning it up, they feeling the heat, so they searching for pools. Tripping on me cause I'm doing my thing and they hoping that I'll be the fool. Taking the game and I'm screwing it up while these boys still searching and looking for tools. Playing it cool, faking it's who. Yeah, they look mad cause I'm breaking the rules. Breaking it loose when I'm breaking some news. Give me your pride and I'm breaking that too. They ain't ahead of us. They don't compare to us. They feeling the kick cause they hearing the change like I opened the register. Flexing on tracks cause this thing is not optional. Leg day is coming, I'm jumping the obstacles. Laughing at haters, we thinking it's comical. Yelling outside like we yelling out dominoes. Always be claiming they monsters. Boy, go get you a sponsor. All of that chatting, all of that acting, gon' mess around, get you an Oscar. They calling me Terrence, I hustle and flow. They all on my line cause I'm still in the vote. Your girl all on me cause she feeling the stroke. Make them say whoa when I'm hitting my woe. Talking like I do not got it. You talking like your boy is not it. When you talk, all I hear is yappa, yappa, yada, 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 yada. Most of your favorites ain't dealing with me. Pouring it up like the end of the week. You don't let us in, we still in the keys. We coming from nothing and ending the street. Aiming at throats and taking out knees. They feeling the pressure and know they can't breathe. Winning the races and taking the places and walking they stages like it's a degree. Feel it in your veins, it's a dope flow. Got the whole game in a chokehold. They taking too long, you can't see me now. Put them in boxes like photos. Packing the bags and hitting new land. I do what I want, they do what they can. All in their way, I'm messing up plans. I'm speaking the truth, I keep it a Grant. Waiting for Zell, never will fail. Waist looking slim, she eating her kale. I'm peeping the game and playing it well. She throwing it back like it's way too exhale. Come from the pain and not chasing no fame. I come up with morals, can't slander my name. Taking what's mine and grabbing the flame. Shooting my shot and yelling out game. Know what's real when I'm giving the feel. Can't look back when you turning the wheel. Go get a doctor, I'm giving the chills. Told them to get out, grab the key and they pill. I warn them that I am a factor. Clearing the way for this tractor. Got some new goals, never will fold. Came too far just to back up. Nah, this ain't what you used to. We ain't tripping on nobody, we just moved through. You couldn't keep up, cause my steps too long. It's time to wake them up, they have slept too long. Zell.
I remember when you was crying over tests. You know I held you tight while your head was on my chest. I wanna go back to the times we didn't stress. Everything was black and white, something like a ref. I swear our love is slept on. You can have my left arm. Your friends was talking mess, but you was never crept on. Your mind was saying that, your friends was saying this. I ain't never raised my voice, never once called you a I know as a woman, a lot is on your mind. You thinking about the future, you questioning the time. Well, baby, I'm your answer, let me be right by your side. I wanna see you shine, when you tired, let me drive. I ain't in a rush, girl, you know I got the patience. Remember when we used to picture better situations? I know your past struggles, them other guys wasn't wise. But look into my eyes, I promise it's you and I. Baby, please tell me the truth. Please, no more lies about you. Yeah, you know this feeling isn't cool. How can I be your rock? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? When I look into your eyes, I am not seeing a clue. I know you going through it too. How can I stop loving you? We was at my boy's wedding, celebrating love. Now we sitting here like, what the hell is us? I wanna freeze time for the hours that we rush. I thought we had sparks, but that wasn't what it was. College situations, you know that we have planned it. Out of state flights and resorts from when we landed. There's nobody else that I care for in this planet. Kisses on the counter, things I never took for granted. I swear that I can't let you go. You got me all emotional. You used to tell me everything. Now you not approachable. All the laughs that we shared, I thought this never be. Now all we got is missed calls and red receipts. I know I seen this coming, I really tried to stop this. There's so many things I know that we could accomplish. This house ain't the same when I cannot see your face. My heart is in the open, I don't know what else to say. Baby, please tell me the truth. Please, no more lies about you. Yeah, you know this feeling isn't cool. How can I be your rock? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? When I look into your eyes, I am not seeing a clue. I know you going through it too. How can I stop loving you?
And we hop out. Yeah, we pull up. And we hop out. Yeah, we pull up and we hop out. Do our dance, then we bring the whole block out. Yeah, we pull up and we hop out. Do our dance, then we bring the whole block out. Yeah, we pull up and we hop out. Do our dance, then we bring the whole block out. Yeah, we pull up and we hop out.
What's up, Kings fans? Welcome into Royal Rebounds. Don't forget to smash up that like button. We'll get the show started here shortly.
Tell them we don't play like the lockout. Got me feeling like Yeezy on the dropout. Can't deal with no phonies. Flow like baloney. Ain't no game round here, homeboy. This ain't Sony. They said they gon' show me. It's in me, not on me. Ha, you don't know me. Tell the game what's up now. They hating from the bus now. Been doing this to T-Pain. Drop the up, down. Oh, I'm on the hunt now. Tell me what you want now. Yeah, I do my dance when you see me in the touchdown. Yeah, we pull up and we hop out. Do our dance, then we bring the whole block out. Yeah, we pull up and we hop out. Do our dance, then we bring the whole block out. Yeah, we pull up and we hop out. Do our dance, then we bring the whole block out. Yeah, we pull up and we hop out. Do our dance, then we bring the whole block out.
Yeah, when we pulling up, my nigga, let me know. And if the haters hate, we finna let him go. Pull up, pop out, two-step, hit the torpedo. When we do our thing, homie, don't let your shorty go. Everywhere we go, we do the stupid dance. I've been doing this since Soulja Boy taught y'all the Superman. Always showing love, we play the stupid jams. Hit you with them shots and got the kind of aim that Cupid has. We ain't never scared, we don't play about it. Keep the party going, give a damn what they say about it. Gotta keep it simple, this for everybody. Ladies and the homies, it's a function, we don't care about it. Flopping in the whip, got the speakers going crazy. Block party lit, family geeking, getting waved. Grannies to the uncles, to the nieces, to the babes. We gon' get it cracking like a weekend.
Yeah, we pull up and we hop out. Do our dance, then we bring the whole block out. Yeah, we pull up and we hop out. Do our dance, then we bring the whole block out. Yeah, we pull up and we hop out. Do our dance, then we bring the whole block out. Yeah, we pull up and we hop out. Do our dance, then we bring the whole block out. Yeah, we about to reinvest on this one. You gotta get to the money, right? Messing with me and you'll never get an inch, player. Been on the court and you are just a bench player. Gotta be tripping if you claiming you ain't heard of me. Feeling like the best, but I guess that's just the nerve of me. Gotta get this bag, gotta push the gas when the engine's bad. Stay on the grind on me, it's your time. They just sad cause they mentions crash. Now you know though, I got the dope flow, got the rap game in a chokehold. Can't let go, I got a bet though. Blending on in like a gecko, staying on track so you know that I swerve the honey. Where I'm from, you gotta earn the money. Invest in yourself, don't burn the money. Take a class and learn the money. I got a goal list, I need 4 cribs. Put my mom and my pops where they both hit. Put my brother in the hills where they don't live. Me and my wife by the ocean. 1 for the money, 2 for the show, 3 to get paid. 1 for the money, 2 for the show, 3 to get paid. 1 for the money, 2 for the show, 3 to get paid. 1 for the money, 2 for the show, 3 to get paid.
Little nigga, speak up. We too high, you can't reach us. Been on the grind since I realized that a young nigga hated recess. This confidence got all these hoes on my penis. Not a genius, I just think a lot. All these bitches been in the corner when I been the block. Steph Curry with the rock when I take my shot. Told y'all niggas I don't need no help. Made to the top, just been myself. Health is wealth, look, and I just power. I've been up for days, I'm geeked off the powder. She say she need me, told her meet me in an hour, She showed up in a towel, Little baby fresh out the shower, Screaming fuck y'all like a diss song, nigga. Young Zell tell them what we on, nigga. Work so hard, what sleep, little nigga. Been in the booth for weeks, gotta get it. You ain't put in it.
Welcome to Royal Rebounds TV with Calvin and Barry. Just 2 crazy fans of the Sacramento Kings and they sharing their opinion. so be sure that you subscribe. It's for the fans, by the fans, whether you chilling on the couch or wildin' in the stands. For laid back conversations about the Kings, subscribe here. Staying down until we come up thinking this gon' be our year. We're here, drinking beer, talking about the Kings. Be sure you subscribe so you can hear that bell ring, yeah.
What's up, Kings fans? Welcome back to Royal Rebounds, the Sacramento Kings YouTube channel for fans, by fans. The Kings unfortunately lose tonight to the Memphis Grizzlies.
Minnesota Grizzly Wolves.
To the Minnesota
last year.
To the Minnesota Timberwolves. 138-134. The streak is over. The 5-game win streak is over. The De'Aaron Fox 30-plus point streak is over. The Kings look a little tired tonight, but that's okay. We got another game on Monday to bounce back, and hey, we're here to talk about it. We're here for post-game, so welcome in, everybody. Welcome to Royal Rebounds, a Sacramento Kings YouTube channel for fans, by fans. If you're a Kings fan, make sure you smash up that like button, hit that subscribe button. We are here live on YouTube after every single Kings game. We are also live on Twitter Spaces, and you can listen to us on all your favorite podcast platforms. Calvin, I'm rocking the hoodie tonight. Hoodie Barry is in the house. Love this camo Royal Rebounds hoodie. You can pick one up at royalrebounds.com. We also got a bunch of other fun merchandise there you can pick up. Calvin, welcome in. Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. Unhappy Saturday because the Kings lost, but you can't win every game by 1 point.
Very true. Very true. This was a rough game for the Sacramento Kings. They did get down early in this game, and they were down by as much as 17 points in the third quarter and went on a couple amazing runs. They just couldn't quite get over that hump and tie the game, get up by one, anything like that, and it came right down to the wire. Happy to see that there was some fight in this Kings team, and they didn't give up when they were down 17 points. So we'll talk about all that tonight. But, hey, I want to give a shout-out to all my friends here in the chat. Cheryl, Mom, I love you. Good to see you in here. The Bouncer is here. Sass is here. We got to give a shout out to one of our members here on the channel. Charles is in the house. Charles was our very first membership here on Royal Rebound, so shout out to Charles. Also, Pika House is here. Jesus is here. De'Aaron Fox Collector is here. Angel. Who else is here? Alfie Man. Big Bird is here. Jim is here. Good to see you all, and everybody else, Makami, everybody else that I didn't mention, welcome into the show tonight. Logan is here. Matthew is here. Jay is here. Jay, there should be a link down below in the description of this video that says join the Royal Family. You can just click on that link and sign up for the membership. We are family, but there's two different options. There's $1.99 per month, the Royal Family membership, and then there's a $9.99 per month as a VIP membership, and unlocks multiple different perks. The VIP membership has access to a group chat, a discount on the team store or our team store, and a bunch of cool stuff like that. And then the basic membership, you get a badge, your name's in a different color, like Charles, and you get some special emojis, some gifts, and some cool stuff like that. Yeah, Charles is right on cue here tonight. Art, no beam tonight, unfortunately, but that is okay.
We're here just conserving power. Yeah, the playoff beam.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to say it right now. Lane is bad luck for the Sacramento Kings. He was in the house tonight, and the Kings lose.
Oh, come on, man. Don't throw Lane under the bus like that.
Well, I got to talk smack before he gets here because I know he's not watching yet. But, Calvin, give me your first thoughts on the game tonight. And don't say no defense.
Well, I mean, 138 points allowed is a lot. Some might say disgusting. I didn't hear many people saying it was disgusting when they allowed 175 in double overtime because they won, but I understand what people are saying. I think you have to give a lot of credit to Minnesota. I thought that they came out and really imposed their will on this game right from the beginning. They were very physical. I thought they did a great job on Fox, having the combination of Edwards and McDaniels guard him, a lot of length. They were really physical with him, like I said. This Kings team does look a little tired. They had a pretty crazy week, a lot of very tightly contested games. They've had a lot of those this season. I don't know how much the wrist is bothering Fox. I saw him holding it a bunch in this game.
He looked tired tonight.
He looked tired overall, and he was short on a lot of his shots, whether that's legs and the wrist or, whatever the case may be. I still think you have to give a lot of credit to Minnesota. They had a good game plan coming in here. They were very aggressive early. They got out in open space and ran. That's something that they have done well all season long.
Yep.
And their entire team was red hot from three tonight. So that's usually a bad combination for the Kings in general. You get yourself in a hole, and even when it looks like there's no chance in hell, somehow the Kings still make multiple runs late in this game and actually have a chance to win there at the end. They just, unlike we've come very accustomed to in the past week, they didn't make all the plays that they needed to, didn't get the timely turnover at the end, didn't hit the free throws, didn't hit the three-point shots. So
we've gotten a little spoiled here, Calvin.
Yeah.
We just expect a miracle to happen at the end of every single game and everything to go right. But, hey, I want to give a shout-out to Dennis. Dennis is watching in tonight. Dennis is my Kings buddy, dude. I used to go back to Sacramento every single year, and Dennis and I would go to a game every single year, a long streak. I think we did it for like 7 or 8 years. So shout out to Dennis. Thank you for watching, Dennis, and I love you as always. But hey, I mean, we can give some credit to the Timberwolves tonight, Calvin. I mean, they do have the worst team name in NBA history, but they played incredibly well tonight. Everybody on that roster tonight made a three except for Rudy Gobert. And they shot the three incredibly well, especially from the corner. It seemed like every moment in this game where the Kings got a little bit of momentum, boom, three from the corner by the Wolves, over and over and over again. It really was quite unfortunate. But hey, there were some positives we can take from the game tonight from the Kings' perspective. You know, Kevin Huerter, I think, is officially back. He splashed 6 threes tonight for him. And like I said, the Kings didn't give up in this game. They still had some fight in them, so it was definitely a fun game to watch. Not the outcome we were wishing for, but guys, the roof is not falling. The sky is not falling. Everything will be okay in Sacramento. And, I mean, it's not like we're the Memphis Grizzlies or anything like that. And, dude, so much drama going on in Memphis. We'll definitely talk about that tonight on the show. But, Calvin, you want to break down kind of like the last couple minutes, last couple plays of this game before I get into the box score? Because there was a lot of things going on there.
Yeah, there was a lot going on there. I know people are upset with the three that Harrison Barnes took. I'm not as upset with it as I think the average person is, you know, being that they were down 4 in that situation. He was open. It was a little bit of a broken play. You oftentimes see, you know, threes get made off of those plays. I know that in a perfect world, you would have liked to have given Kevin Huerter a chance to get the ball there at the end. That's definitely, I think, the thing that or the theme here of the last few possessions.
He was open.
He was open. Harrison Barnes was open too, and you know he made a few threes in this game as well. So I just the thing that bothered me the most was Fox's shot selection down the stretch. If you're that tired, you've got long, good defenders on you, 2 step backs in a row is not the shot that you wanted there with no movement, nothing else going on, no screen, no nothing. That's what kind of puzzled me the most. The foul at the end of the game there where Fox takes the foul there after they full court press and trap, I think Brown was calling for that foul. So at that point in the game, I think I saw Sass probably had the quote from Mike Brown. They didn't really feel confident that they were going to get a stop at that point. And why would you? I mean, Minnesota just gashed them as much as they possibly could throughout the entire game. So
Yeah, they did. They did. And, I mean, I was not happy with either of those step backs by De'Aaron Fox. I thought he got bailed out on that foul call. I mean, obviously it was a foul on Anthony Edwards, like straight up. The wrist is not part of the ball. So that was obviously a foul. But I thought that it was a little bit of a bailout because I thought it was a bad shot.
Yeah.
I don't like deep twos. And, of course, he was trying to go for a three in that situation. But De'Aaron, give it to the hot man. Give it to Kevin Huerter. His hair was on fire. He's making everything tonight.
Or at least get some movement there. I mean, like, I don't understand why there wasn't a screen at the tops for Fox to maybe get downhill, try to get inside for an easier shot, a chance at a three-point play, or at the worst case, a kick out to somebody like Kevin Huerter or Harrison Barnes for an open three. The 4 guys standing there while Fox does his thing and step backs, I'm not really in agreement with that move, even though De'Aaron Fox has been so good in the fourth quarter all season long. He didn't really look like he had it there at the end there. Like you said, he looked tired, didn't have very much legs. And I agree with Sass. In that moment where Fox takes the foul there, I would have played that possession out, I think.
Yep.
I mean, at the very least, you force, instead of forcing a great free throw shooter to go to the line to put you up 4 with 15 seconds left, you have a chance that there's a missed shot and you get a chance there at the end. So.
I mean, yeah, there was, was it 9-second difference?
No, I think it was about 8.
8-second difference between the game and the shot clock.
8 point something.
I absolutely loved what they did before that foul. The multiple traps. Nobody was open. The Kings just kept scrambling and just running after whoever had the ball, making it difficult. I mean, we've seen this time and time again at the end of games, and the Kings have done it successfully multiple times. I thought, like I said, maybe I'm getting a little greedy here. I thought that maybe it could happen again. I loved everything up until that foul, which I was like, what? Why are you fouling? You're just going to play the foul game at this point and then take a bad shot after that. So not happy about that. But, hey, it happens. It happens. Oh, Ninja says it was 4 seconds. Still not bad.
Oh, yeah, that's
Still
right.
not bad. With a timeout left.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
Not a lot of time at all. But still, I mean, if you're – I like going for the trap and the steal. But then if Mike Conley's the guy that ends up with the ball there, it's almost like it's not a guaranteed 2 points. But I would have played a little longer in that possession.
I think he's 86% or something like that from the free throw line. So not good odds, especially when you go down 4 with 11 seconds left and you have to burn your last time out to advance the ball. So, best case scenario, if he makes both of those, best case is you make a 3, then you foul again, and then you have 4 or 5 seconds and no timeout left. So really, really a tough situation. But let's go over the box score tonight. Domas Sabonis, 33 minutes of action, 24 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists. He did pick up 5 personal fouls in this game. I thought he was going to foul out towards the end there, but they gave the foul to Kevin Huerter. Thank you, referees, I guess. Finally help us out one time this season. Harrison Barnes, 37 minutes of action, 7 of 13 from the field, 3 of 5 from three-point range, 20 points for him, 4 rebounds, and an assist. Keegan Murray, very, very rough game for Keegan Murray. Probably the roughest game of the season for him. 20 minutes of action, 0 of 2 from the field. Both of those were 3-point attempts, 0 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists for him tonight. Definitely want to talk about Keegan. De'Aaron Fox, 37 minutes of action. This guy keeps logging a ton of minutes, Calvin. A ton of minutes. 10 of 22 from the field, 0 of 2 from three-point range. 25 points for him, 2 rebounds, 7 assists, and he ends that 8-game streak of 30-plus points. Kevin Huerter, 33 minutes of action. Great game for Kevin Huerter tonight. 11 of 15 from the field, 6 of 9 from three-point range, 29 points and 2 assists. As far as the bench goes tonight, 15 points, 8 rebounds for Trey Lyles, 6 points for Chemezi, 3 points for Kessler Edwards. This is a big 3 towards the end of this game.
It was a big
he
3.
Played
Very
14 minutes of action, a little Edwards on Edwards action tonight. He did a great job on the defensive end of the ball. Definitely want to talk about him tonight. Alex Len did not play tonight, or just a kind of a fraction of a minute tonight, so didn't have much of an impact on this game. 2 points for Davion Mitchell, 2 points for Terrence Davis, only 8 points for Malik Monk, but 5 assists for him tonight. And then 2 minutes for PJ Dozier, missed both of those shots, 0 points, 1 rebound. Calvin, what stands out here?
I mean, I wouldn't say there's anything in the box score that stands out. Like, Trey Lyles, again, had a great game. Fox still ends up with 25 points even after a pretty slow start. Kevin Huerter probably is the thing that stands out the most. 6 threes, 29 points. Just missed his career high. They didn't get a ton of help offensively off the bench other than Trey Lyles. But, yeah, Huerter finding his stroke from outside is probably what jumps out if you look at the box score, unless you're looking at Minnesota's box score.
Yeah, don't want to look there, Calvin. All 5 starters in double figures. I mentioned every single Wolf tonight made a 3 except for Rudy Gobert, who obviously did not attempt one. But, hey, looking here at the team stats, it's crazy. I thought Minnesota shot the 3 ball well, 51.3% from 3. The Kings shot it almost 52% from three-point range. But they did get down early in this game. And, dude, it takes a lot of energy battling back, especially from down 17 in the third quarter. Kings shot 55% from the field as opposed to 60% for the Timberwolves tonight. 73.3 tonight from the free throw line for the Kings. They missed 8 free throws tonight. 22 of 30. They did get out rebounded, but only by one by the Timberwolves tonight. 28 defensive rebounds for the Kings tonight, 11 offensive rebounds. They almost doubled up the Timberwolves in offensive rebounds. However, late in that fourth quarter, we saw 3 straight buckets for the Timberwolves off of offensive rebounds. Yes. Definitely a Kings killer and has been a Kings killer for a while. Shout out to Alfie Man. Shout out to Callum. Dennis is here in the chat. Good to see you guys. And then assists tonight, only 25 assists for the Sacramento Kings tonight. Charlie is here as well. We've seen the past couple games, not a lot of assists for the Sacramento Kings. A lot of one-on-one ISO ball for them. Only 5 steals tonight for the Kings, a block, and only 6 total turnovers for the Kings tonight, as opposed to 12 for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Kings' largest lead tonight, 2. Minnesota 17, like I said, in the third quarter. Give me your thoughts on the team stats.
Well, Minnesota three-point shooting, obviously, right, is a big one. You mentioned those 3 straight offensive putbacks. Even when the Kings they weren't able to get many stops in this game. But then finally, when they do come up with some big stops, a loose ball or a bad bounce ends up in Minnesota's hands, or a putback dunk. Not to mention, Minnesota missed, 2 dunks in this game?
Yeah.
Jaden McDaniels may be one of the easiest dunk attempts missed that you'll see.
I thought they called a kickball on that.
They called basket interference.
Yeah, because he missed the dunk, but he's holding on to the rim, and then I thought he kicked the ball, but he hit it with his knee. And I'm like, that's wild.
Kicked it, hit it with his knee.
I'm like, wow, dude.
Same thing.
I've never seen a kicked ball on a dunk attempt before.
Yeah,
that's wild.
No, I mean, that was a very strange play, unusual play.
And then Gobert missed the dunk as well late in the game.
Yeah. It's really easy to criticize what the Kings did wrong in this game, because they did a lot of things wrong, yet they still had a chance to win. Yep. I find it amazing that you say that so many times about the Kings basketball team this season. Like, they really do fight until the very end, and they are almost always in it, even if they're playing pretty poorly.
Yeah, I'm trying to find what you said here in the group chat. Kings really are a team of destiny if they win this game.
Yeah.
Because there was a moment there where, and I think it was something you posted maybe a couple games ago, where you're like, it's wild thinking that going into every single game, the Kings actually have a chance to win. And, it sounds kind of weird now, but I mean, that was our reality for the past 15, 16 years, is it's like, oh, you see who's up next on the schedule, and you're like, that's an L. That's an L. That's an L. Maybe you see a game where you're like, okay, Kings have a good shot here. Of course they have a chance to win every game. But, now we're going into games feeling like we have a really good chance. Like, we are going to win this game. I heard
you expect to win.
I heard people saying, light
Almost
the beam before this game even started. Maybe that was our problem tonight. Maybe we jinxed ourselves.
Yeah.
Maybe we got a little bit ahead of ourselves. But, hey, things happen when you're on a 5-game winning streak and playing like the Kings have been playing. So, definitely not mad about the outcome or about the game tonight. Disappointed with the outcome. But hey, we got 19 more games here to finish up the season. I love where the Kings are at here, the 3rd seed in the Western Conference. We'll talk about the 2nd seed here in a little bit, but let's jump into some of these players, Calvin. First off, I think what everybody's wondering, what's going on with Keegan?
This isn't the first time that Keegan has struggled against a team that's long and athletic and aggressive defensively, right? He's a guy that up until recently hasn't been the type of player that's going to seek out shots or be aggressive or I don't want to say selfish, because it's not that, but a guy that won't force shots, right? He definitely lets the game come to him. And I think that at times when teams are playing super aggressive on the perimeter like that, clearly trying to take away what he does well, he tends to kind of fade into the back and into the abyss, so to speak. So, and in those games, Mike Brown has definitely looked to the bench. He's been very quick to go with somebody else. You saw it in the second half here. He was desperate for somebody to give them a spark, so he went with PJ Dozier and Kessler Edwards, both guys that are better known for their defense, but really haven't played much with this team. So,
I mean, we saw in that last game against the Clippers where Keegan was benched late in that game as well, right? And we were a little surprised he didn't finish out that game. They opted to go with Malik Monk instead, even when Malik was not shooting exceptionally well in that game, but they wanted somebody who's a little bit better ball handler. And then tonight it was the defense because Anthony Edwards was absolutely lighting it up. Shout out to Callum here. Callum's a new member to the channel. Welcome to the Royal Family, Callum. Good to see you. Green looks good on you. Green looks really, really good on you. But yeah, I mean, Keegan, it's funny, just 2 games ago, we're raving about Keegan Murray, right? Yeah. Keegan is playing exceptionally well. He's getting better in every single category. He's doing things that we haven't seen yet. He's handling the ball a little bit better. He's bringing it up the court. He's hitting 2s. And then, of course, he's been on fire from that corner 3 spot. But, hey, people forget he is a rookie, right? I even get ahead of myself sometimes, and I'm like, this dude's not playing like a rookie. He doesn't look like a rookie anymore. But at the same time, it's a long season. He's a young player.
Absolutely.
This is more games than he's played in college, you know, and it's...
There's no reason to get down on him. He's also being asked to guard, you know, the other team's best player on most nights now. He's been on Paul George a bunch in the last week.
Chat.
He's been on... Oh, yeah, thanks, Callum. What's up? That's cool. He's been on Paul George a lot in the last week in 2 games. He was on Anthony Edwards for a good portion of the game when he was playing tonight. So, you know, those are tough stretches to go through as a rookie. And I also, when another player on this team gets hot, like Kevin did today, Keegan, you know, generally will get less touches, less shot attempts. So,
yeah. I mean, it's kind of, I'm just going to say what I've been saying about Kevin Huerter over the past couple weeks, right, is it's players go through slumps. Shooters shoot. You got to keep shooting to get out of slumps.
I don't even think you can call this a slump. He only took 2 shots.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm just saying, like, in the overall context, right, don't get too low on a player. They're there for a reason. They've been playing exceptionally well. Just because you have a bad game or 2 doesn't mean that they've fallen off the cliff.
No,
or
definitely
we need to bench them and start somebody else or anything like that. I just, you know, don't get ahead of ourselves. Everything is going to be just fine with Keegan Murray. So I expect him to have a bounce-back game. All right. Who do you want to talk about next? Because all the other starters, man, 20-plus points.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, scoring is not this team's problem.
Yeah, that's true.
They put up 134 as a team tonight.
Okay, you want to talk about defense? Let's talk about Kevin Huerter.
Okay, well, if you want to talk about defense, you can talk about anybody, really.
Yeah.
Up until probably the 8-minute mark of the 4th quarter, that's really when this team puts in the effort defensively. They finally got some turnovers, some stops. Fox had a couple possessions in a row where he really, really worked hard to move his feet, jumped in front of Anthony Edwards a couple of times, forced him to go behind the back, results in a turnover.
Yep.
Those are great plays to watch. They just don't have many of those over the course of a game.
We got another new member.
Shout out.
Jesus.
The family is growing by the minute.
Yeah, we're just multiplying. Green looks good on you, Jesus. I like it. Praise Jeebus. He should change it to Jeebus. Like the Simpsons episode. Yeah. Great. But yeah, no, back to defense. So, yeah, like you said, like defense is not the problem with this offense is not the problem with this basketball team. It's defense. And, you know, we talked about the plus minus, the defensive numbers by quarter. The Kings have been exceptionally better in the 4th quarter in defense. And I would say they played better defense in the 4th quarter of this game. I believe the 2nd quarter they gave up like 38
Hard not
points,
to play better defense
right?
than the way this game started.
Yeah, they gave up like 38 points.
38, yeah, and then scored 38
quarter.
in the 3rd, I think.
So definitely tough. Yeah, I was impressed by Kessler Edwards as well, and I'm sure a lot of people were like, who is this Edwards guy, right? We were getting texts, never seen Edwards. I don't know what he is. What does he do? Where is he from? All this. Guys, he was the big acquisition at the trade deadline that everyone was like, we didn't make a move. Hey, we made a move. We brought in Kessler Edwards.
Maybe Monty struck gold again.
From the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah, we will definitely see. We saw him hit a 3 in this game. Has been playing good defense. 3-and-D guys is exactly what Monty's been going after the past couple seasons. I like Kessler Edwards a lot. Hopefully he can do it again and again and again. All right. But, hey, we got to give a shout-out to Kevin Huerter. Offensively, Kevin's back. And, I mean, when you have a shooting guard like Kevin Huerter, who's not the best defender. What was the phrase you used in the last one? He's physically challenged.
Yeah, he's physically challenged.
So with
physically handicapped, I think is what I said.
So when you have a guy like that on your team, I mean, honestly, you need him to try his best, do whatever he can to be part of the team defense, but honestly, you need him to shoot well and score the basketball. That's the only way to make up for bad defense for a single player is to score, and that's exactly what he did tonight. So shout out to Kevin Huerter. I think he's officially back. I mean, what did you see differently out of Kevin Huerter tonight?
Well, I think his stroke just looks much cleaner, much more compact, and much more confident. I mean, he's coming off of the screen. You can see it as soon as he gets the ball. He's going to put himself in position to get the shot up. Just like we mentioned Fox's wrist injury, Huerter has had some issue with his hand or wrist as well. Really hard to tell how much that bothered him tonight. So, or not tonight, but bothered him in the past. It doesn't look like it's bothering him much anymore. He definitely seems like, the shot is just, it feels much better coming off of his hands. Step backs, off the dribble, he's looking very smooth. Yes. So it was great to see for sure.
I feel like when he shoots the basketball, I either know if it's going in or not going in, like right away.
He does have a very, his shot motion is just really compact. Like it as soon as the ball comes up, it's out of his hand. It's a very quick release. For somebody that's got long arms like that, Keegan Murray, his shot is really, really nice. But it is this like long extended range, when it comes out of his hand. Huerter, it's like a bang firebolt that comes out of there like lightning.
Bang! I love Kevin Huerter when he's making shots, man. It looks so good, and it's exciting. He kind of rolls right around the screen and just, boom, pops it right in there. Shout out to Jose for joining in. Jose, if you want to join, become a member, all you got to do is just scroll down to the description of the video. It says join the royal family. There's a little link. Just click on that and sign up. You can be a membership and have a cool green name like these guys. There's also a lot of perks as well. And having a basketball next to your name, just so you guys know, the longer you are a member, that changes and it evolves to different things as well, and maybe evolves into a Royal Rebounds logo eventually. So keep your eyes on that. Okay, Calvin. I want to call you Kevin tonight.
Not the first time I've been called Kevin.
Let's talk about HB, because I know a lot of people were hating on that shot attempt late in the game from 3 for him. But HB, I thought he's been playing really, really well. Defensively, offensively. We talk about him multiple times after every game. Where are you at on HB?
I'm still the same place on HB. He's been really solid for this team. I do not hate that shot at the end as much as most people do, judging by what people have been typing here in the chat. He ball faked. He had an open look. And like I said, off of a broken play, a lot of times that's the best offensive rebound or a broken play. Yep. Those are the best times to take a 3-point shot. If he had made that and the Kings go on to win, we'd be saying he was the hero of the game. So I'm okay with it, especially because he was hitting early in this game. So
he definitely was. Shout out to Jose for joining the royal family. Jose, green looks good on you. We got those new emojis up. We saw the Calvin emoji earlier. There's also a Barry emoji. I think when you and I go back and forth and we disagree, we play devil's advocate, we go back and forth, it'd be really cool to have them say who they side with by posting that emoji of either you or I think that would be
absolutely
really, really cool. Another cool way to keep everybody involved here. Jose is officially part of the Ohana. Yeah.
Oh, there's Barry wins, I guess.
There's me. Thanks, Callum. Appreciate you. But yeah, Harrison Barnes, I feel like a broken record talking about HB because I mean, the dude is so consistent. All I can say is the same things every single time, right? Is he does the little things that don't always show up on the stat sheet. He doesn't get too high. He doesn't get too low. He's got a ring, right? Like there's only so much I can say about HB because the guy really is so consistent. The shot's not always falling for him, but the energy, the effort's always there. The mentality is there. The leadership ability is always there. So, shout out to Harrison Barnes. Like I said in the last stream, I really, really hope the Kings can find a way to re-sign him here in free agency, and I do think that he will stay with the Sacramento Kings. But guys, I guess what I'm really trying to say here is, we're breaking down players. Yes, the Kings lost tonight. I think Central Valley is going to be the next member.
Oh, that's your bet?
Would be my opinion. But what I'm trying to say here is just, there's nothing to worry about. This was a loss. We just won 5 games in a row.
Well,
there's film you can look at. There's things you can work on, but it's one game. You lose, you move on.
Yes, you definitely. I mean, you're not going to win every game, even though we talked about winning 60 games, which is more than last night, which is more than the available games left. No, it's not possible. They can't win 60 games.
Why not?
Or if you count playoff games, yes, they can.
We're going to the playoffs.
But they don't put those on the regular season record, so you won't see 60. But my point is you're not going to win every game. The fact that they were even in this game at the end, again, I think speaks to the mental fortitude and just the overall attitude of this team. They know that they're never out of it, that sort of thing. They're always going to play really hard till the end. But I do disagree a little bit with there's nothing to worry about.
Okay, here we go.
It's no longer can we end the drought and make the playoffs, right? At this point, it's much expected that the
what
Kings
have you
will be
done for
in the
me lately?
Yes, that's true.
Okay,
but I'm saying we're now fully prepared to see playoff basketball, right?
Okay.
There is something to worry about with the Kings defense when it comes to playoff basketball. I mean, they could easily, if they play like this defensively, they could easily get swept. I don't care who they play in the first round. That's something to worry about.
You're really going to use the S word?
I am going to use the S word.
I don't like that at all, Calvin.
Look, it's something that you have to acknowledge. This team is not good defensively.
Well, you just ruined my mood.
I don't think – I agree with Sass. It's not a lack of effort. They don't have the right pieces in place to play good defense, what it takes to play good defense in a 7-game series. I mean, if they go up – I don't care who they go up against. There's going to be a great offensive duo or a great offensive team on the other side.
Yeah.
And the game changes a lot when you get into the playoffs. Now, I admit they don't have the playoff experience. There's that sort of notion of you got to take your lumps and learn how to win and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm not worried about this team progressing long term. But the fact that they suck on defense is definitely worrisome when you think about what it's going to look like when they get into the playoffs.
You know what's funny, Calvin, is I was just kind of messing around last year on the stream, and you'd always ask me, what's your key to the game? And I said score more points than the other team. Yeah. Now that's really the key to every single game for the Kings is you got to score more
points
not
wrong.
than the other team because the defensive numbers are just simply not there. But, we've seen quite a few quotes come out of Coach Brown here over the past couple weeks. One of them was, I'm not here to just make the playoffs. I want to win the whole thing. I want to go deep. This team has a lot of potential, stuff like that. Okay, Coach Calvin, get out your clipboard right now. How can this Kings team become a better defensive team?
Man,
and you got 19 games to do it.
Well, it's not that simple. I don't know if it happens in 19 games. Remember what I said multiple times coming out of the All-Star break. At this point in the season, you are who you are as a team. They're not going to make some dramatic – the fact that they're a top 10 defense in the fourth quarter, both in scoring and in net differential, that's great. But you don't win a playoff series by only playing defense in one quarter.
So what you're saying is they need a hypnotist to convince the players that every quarter is the fourth quarter?
Maybe.
Yeah?
Perhaps. I mean, it definitely feels like every quarter is the fourth quarter in the playoffs, so maybe that'll help.
I mean, they've got off to a lot of slow starts. They've allowed a lot of
They
points
have gotten
in the
off to some
first and
slow
second
starts.
quarter.
They're not built to play great team defense right now. They have too many individual guys that are terrible on-ball defenders or perimeter defenders, which allows for guys to just blow by them for layups, getting into the paint at will, kickouts to easy corner threes. It takes a village to be able to shut teams down on the perimeter. You have to be so in tune. The Miami Heat are a great example from this season, but from the past few years when they made their runs deep in the playoffs when they were number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. They played a small lineup. They had a phenomenal anchor at the back in Bam Adebayo. They had really great on-ball defenders.
Mm-hmm. And they still
but
lost.
also, yes, they still lost. But they also played with guys who are horrible individual defenders, like Duncan Robinson, for example. He played a lot of minutes for them in that playoff run. But he was still good at being able to be in the right spot and rotate, and he learned how to play good team defense. That's the difference between, where a team like Miami was at that point and where the Kings are at this point.
You know what you sound like right now?
I just want to point out here, I don't actually believe that the Kings are going to get swept in the first round. I know everybody is going to jump on me for that.
Jump on him.
That's fine. I'm not saying that they will be swept. All I'm saying is the fact that the Kings play defense the way they do is a problem for them in the playoffs.
Calvin's mad that he's going to have to cut his hair off. That's simply what it is. You know what you sound like right now?
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me?
Yeah. Playoffs.
I have confidence that they will win more than one game in the playoffs.
I'm just giving you a hard time, Calvin. No, I do agree with you.
It's a major problem.
The fact that they gave up 175 points in a game, the fact that they've given up multiple games of 130-plus points is tough to win playoff games like that, because we like to say, oh, hey, that last game felt like playoff basketball or the intensity, but in reality, it's not. This Kings team has never played in playoff basketball as far as it's currently constructed, and things really do get a lot harder. Shots are a lot harder to get. Shots are a lot harder to make, and if this Kings team goes on droughts where they can't make buckets, they're going to get absolutely worked in playoff games. And defense is what can help keep your team in the basketball game when you're not making shots. And if this Kings team cannot play defense, they're really going to struggle if they can't make shots. Now, that's not saying that they can have 2-3 games in a series where they shoot lights out and they win, but it's hard to do that in a 7-game series or 4 games in a row. So I definitely feel you on what you're saying.
And once you get into a 7-game series, even if you're the best offensive team in the NBA, it's all about adjustments, right? And it gets a lot harder once you get into the 3rd or the 4th game, or when you have to go on the road for your offense to continue to operate at that clip. When a team gets to they do scout, but when a team gets to
make adjustments
and play in over and over and over and over again.
Yep.
Hey, you can call me negative, but it's the truth, man. It's the absolute truth.
Yeah, one thing we don't want to be here is an echo chamber of toxic positivity, right? We want to have opinions that are varying, opinions that are different. We want to be realistic. Yes, of course, I get on my emotional kick sometimes where I predict the Kings are never going to lose a basketball game ever again, and they're going to win the next 5 championships, which could happen. But I think it is important to realistically look at a lot of these situations, because if the team is not looking at it that way, if the coaching staff is not looking at it that way, you're never going to improve and get better. So I think that definitely is really, really important. But Calvin, I'm still upset with you. But hey, let's talk about Sabonis, because I see a lot of people here in the chat, some of them agreeing with you, some of them saying the problem is Sabonis in the small ball lineup makes it hard for the Kings to play good defense. And sorry, real quick, I just had another thought pop up in my head. I want to finish up a couple things here, and then we'll get to Nick and Bryce. They're waiting on Twitter Spaces. But it's games like this. It's games like against the Clippers, although we won that game, that teams are going to be watching footage in the playoffs, when they're making adjustments, when the Kings score 140 points in a game, they're going to sit down and they're going to say, what did this other team do to shut down the Kings? What did this other team do to break down the Kings off or defense? And we're basically giving away secrets on how to stop the basketball team, this team, when they play like this. So I think that's definitely something to keep in mind. But let's talk about Sabonis.
Well, I don't think that this team is a bad defensive team because of Sabonis. I mean, is he one of the better defensive centers in the NBA? No. I mean, he's definitely not a top 10 guy. But he gets put in a lot of difficult positions because of the guards.
All about effort, and he gives 110%.
He does give great effort. I think that he does a really good job at hedging off the pick and roll. I think he does a good job recovering. I think he does a good job of challenging shots inside. He's just not a shot blocker. He doesn't have a great vertical leap, so he's not going to challenge.
Physically handicapped?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you look, Rudy Gobert is a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. He got absolutely killed at the end of his term in Utah, saying, why is this guy winning Defensive Player of the Year? This team sucks. All you have to do is pull him out of the paint and let guys go at him on offense on the perimeter.
Yep.
They ignored the fact that he played with one of the worst perimeter defensive teams in the NBA. So obviously he can't be everywhere on the court at once.
Yeah.
Now, Sabonis is nowhere near the defender or rim protector that Rudy Gobert is, but he does an adequate job. And I think he gets put in terrible situations because the guys on the perimeter are not able to stay in front of their man time in and time out.
Yeah. I mean, let's look at last year's NBA Finals. Who are the two teams?
I don't know who was it. I'm blanking. Celtics and Warriors.
And they were number one and number one.
Number one and number two defensive teams in the NBA.
It was number one offense and number one defense, right?
I think they were number one and number two defensively also.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, teams are going to go at it, and the Kings, honestly, like at this point, they just need to score more than the other team, and that's only going to get you so far without a good defensive rating. So we're making steps in the right direction, but Monty's got to make some moves here in the offseason to bring in, some more defensive-minded players. And I think as this team continues to play more and more together, they're going to get better collectively as a team on defense. But bringing in a few different players to make some tweaks, I think is definitely going to help this team. But guys, I don't want to get, too negative. I'm ecstatic with where the Kings are at right now. They are definitely ahead of schedule. I said last year, they're last year's Memphis Grizzlies. Hopefully they don't turn into this year's Memphis Grizzlies, because that's a whole nother story, and we'll definitely talk about that. Maybe we'll face them in the playoffs. That would be pretty convenient.
You never know.
But okay, we talked about Murray, we talked about Barnes, we talked about Herter, we talked about Sabonis. Give me a quick little spiel on De'Aaron Fox, and then let's go to Nick.
I think everybody's already said it. He was tired. The T-Wolves did a great job on him defensively. They played better defense on him in this game than really any team has that I've seen in probably the last month. I mean, he's been on a tear, obviously, but they did a good job of being physical with him early, giving him multiple looks, a lot of length on him. They really made it difficult. When he's able to get to the rim and he just is missing layups. I mean, I realize that there's contact. Maybe you could say that there were fouls that he didn't get called, but he still knocks down those shots. I mean, he's shooting over 85%, I think, in the restricted area this season. So when he's missing those shots, that teams are bothering him with being physical, the length, and it's probably a combination of him being tired as well. So he was really good again in the fourth quarter, gave him a chance. As we have come to expect, Clutch Fox was there again. He gave it one last, really, really solid effort. But overall, I think it's a combination of Minnesota doing a really good job on him right from the beginning and just the overall close games, all this, play catching up to him and a little tired, heavy legs.
Back-to-back He's a new father. We don't know how much sleep he's actually getting, right? I've heard that's a thing. Not that I've ever been there, but I've definitely heard that that's a thing. Shout out to Bryce here for joining in. Bryce, it's all good, man. And shout out to Key Kings for joining in. Alfie Man is here. Ryan is here. Brooklyn is here. Alfie Man, I think green would look pretty good on you. Last thing before we go over to Nick, I saw somebody mention Terrence Davis. It was Alfie Man here in the chat. What do you think is going on with Terrence Davis? I mean, 6 minutes of action tonight, 7 minutes the game before that, 10, 13, and 14 in the last 5 games. Why is Terrence Davis not getting minutes? I mean, this was after he was playing exceptionally well, and you and I both agreed on the show, Terrence Davis needs more minutes for this basketball team.
It's just been up and down for him all year long. I mean, this is exactly what it's been like for him the entire season. As, 1 or 2 really, really good games. You expect to see him in the rotation more. He got in today, almost immediately had a steal and a breakaway layup. I thought that was going to ignite him because usually if he gets a play like that right in the beginning, some sort of steal or turnover on defense is able to get out in the open and has a fast break bucket, that usually ignites him. I think he as well struggled with the length and size of this team. He's a smaller guard, and if he's not able to hit shots from the outside to kind of counteract that, again, late in the game, Mike Brown is looking for a spark on this team, so he's going to go with a longer, lengthier defender.
I mean, you've said this for multiple players on this team, bothered by the length and the size of the other team. I mean, we've played big teams. We played the Lakers. We played the Cavaliers. There's multiple teams in the NBA that are bigger. I get what you're saying. What kind of advice would you give to this Kings team? Like, how can you make up for that? How can you play better as a smaller guard when you're playing against length?
Well, how can you play better? I mean, you have to be able to move the ball, which, again, length makes that a problem. I think you have to play inside out more. They went to Sabonis in the post a lot in the first half of this game, and he was able to get, Rudy Gobert into a bunch of fouls. I think that's the way, if you're a smaller guard, if you're looking for a little more space, you have to get the ball into the paint, whether it's passing to a guy in there as a big man or a screen and roll, pick and roll situation where you're able to get dribble penetration, because that's what shrinks the defense in. If you're just trying to run these ball screens and double pin down screens off the top of the perimeter and there's no action to get into the middle of the paint, the defense can just stay spread out and extended on you the entire time. So it's not necessarily what one individual player, a smaller player, has to do. It's about how the team operates as a whole against a defense like that.
I mean, I really liked what they were doing early on in this game. I believe at halftime or maybe early in the third quarter, they got Rudy Gobert in foul trouble by giving the ball inside to a guy like Sabonis. I feel like maybe that's a way to counteract the size of a team is try and go at them, try and get them in foul trouble so that they do have to play a little bit further away. They can't be quite as aggressive because, length in the NBA is everything, right?
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what makes a guy like SGA so good. And a lot of these guys, right, is they just have the size.
And another problem that this team runs into is, if you say, okay, well, we are going to feed somebody inside and try to post up or force a defense to collapse, if you take Sabonis out of the game, they don't have that as an option, period.
Uh-oh. Nick had pizza tonight.
Well, he had pizza last night too, and they won.
Should we bring him on?
Yeah.
All right. Let's hear from Nick. Nick, what's up, buddy? How are you, man?
Good. I had pizza tonight.
Uh-oh. What kind of pizza?
I had cheese pizza.
Okay. Same as last night.
He's not going to answer any questions.
Yeah, it was pizza tonight. I feel like.
Were you at the game tonight? What do I hear in the background?
It was.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. So
What
I just
are you
wanted
doing?
to say, just getting out the car.
Oh, you're in a car right now?
He's going to pick up some more pizza.
What kind of car do you have, Nick? You have a Tesla?
No, I'm in my friend's car, so
Oh,
getting out. So,
okay.
No, I just want to say.
I think Nick's a little busy right now.
Seems like.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Oh, he's good.
I lost tonight. I know we lost tonight, but we gotta like the beam.
Okay.
Hard to light the beam when you lose, man.
Yeah, Nick, I want to hear about your day, man. How was your practice today?
It was good today. Good.
What did you guys do in practice? Whoa.
Oh, did you just have some pizza?
Yeah, I just want to say, I know we lost tonight, but you know what? No beam tonight.
No beam. If the beam, Nick, if the beam was lit every night, it wouldn't be as special.
Yeah.
That's true.
So we can't light the beam every night. We got to enjoy it when it's lit. And then nights like tonight where the beam's not lit, we got to enjoy it being lit even more because we're going to light it on Monday against the Pelicans, right?
Yes.
Well, tell me about your practice today, Nick. Or are you busy?
No, I'm fine. I'm just getting.
You're unlocking your door to your house?
Yeah, I'm inside now.
Okay. Hey, take your time, man. It's not like we're all waiting on you or anything.
Okay. I'm just.
What do you think he's doing, Calvin?
I don't know, man. Sounds like maybe he's looking for his keys.
It sounded to me like, at the beginning of Ace Ventura, where the apartment manager's like, you don't have any animals in there, do you? And he's jiggling the keys, to let all the animals know to hide. He's like trying to get in his door. He's jiggling the keys. Is that what you're doing, Nick? Are you hiding a bunch of animals?
No, I'm not. I was just getting inside the door.
Okay. All right. Well, tell me, give me a prediction for Monday's game against the Pelicans.
Well, I do want to
you're
say
killing
that
me, buddy.
for Monday's game I do want to say that we need to play better defense. Stay on your man.
Okay.
Stay on your man.
All right, Nick. Well, I hope you got home safely, and we'll talk to you on Monday.
Yeah. Hey, that was my cheese pizza tonight.
You had some cheese pizza?
Yeah, I did.
All righty. Sounds good, buddy.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you later.
Sleep beams, Nick.
Why not?
All right. Well, we appreciate you, Nick. We love you so much. But, guys, don't call unless you're ready to effing talk on the phone. Jesus Christ.
He's just all out of whack because the Kings actually lost.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's a little sad about the Kings loss tonight. But hey, I mean, I love having Nick on the show. We'll have him on anytime. But hey, what were we talking about?
I lost my train of thought after that as well. I do want to address. Charlie was asking me in the chat if I was surprised that the Kings didn't play any zone tonight. I actually did see the Kings play. It wasn't very much. I only saw a couple of possessions of it, but I did see them play zone for a couple plays. Should they have played it more, especially, without Rudy Gobert? I forget how you put it, but that's debatable, right? I mean, the Kings zone defense hasn't exactly been a lockdown option either. So
Jesus Christ,
I'm not really sure. It worked in short spurts against the Clippers just to give them sort of a different look. I think that's kind of what they went with tonight as well. But for a team that was just picking them apart and hitting the corner three as well as Minnesota was, I'm not sure a zone defense would have necessarily slowed that down much either.
Okay, I want to talk about the bench, but before we do that, I mean, any other thoughts about defense? Like, You kind of hit me in a soft spot there in the heart, dude. Like,
oh, did I?
Calvin was, I mean, dude, I've been used to hater Calvin for years. Then, dude, you surprised me. What was it, a couple streams ago, and you're like, I'm all in on the Kings. They're killing it. And then tonight you're like, they're not going to win many playoff games like this. And, I mean.
Oh, dude, I've had that state of mind the whole season.
Yeah, I know. But, I mean, maybe it's because they lost today. Maybe I'm a little emotional. And then, you just kind of go for the jugular there with that move. I mean, dude, I want to talk about solutions. So you got 19 games left. How can this Kings team get better on defense?
I mean, it just takes effort. Like, aside from it, there's a difference between as a team knowing how to position yourself in man-to-man and knowing how to position yourself in zone. So you can talk about schematics when it comes to that sort of a thing, but like I said before, the team is who they are at this point in the season. These players are not going to all of a sudden – Kevin Huerter's not all of a sudden going to become a lockdown defender.
Yep.
Malik Monk's not going to become a lockdown defender in the final 19 games of the year. I think that there's certain – I love when the Kings go to how they blitz a pick and roll and force the ball. I think a lot of teams love to kind of break down the Kings defense by getting Sabonis out away from the paint, running pick and roll, getting a little penetration, and that then forces the guys to shrink in and help off the sides, which allows or forces the Kings to give up outside shot, corner three, wide open after wide open corner three. I really like when the Kings go to that kind of trap right off the screen. However, that's a very difficult defense to play for 48 minutes. That's not something that you really run all of the time.
Yeah.
Or consistently throughout the course of a game. So they've in moments they've been good at helping, drawing charges. Davion Mitchell and Keegan Murray have been good at that all season long. But until in the playoffs, like we've talked about before, you're going to hunt and seek out the matchups that you want, right? You're going to run screen and roll so that you get Kevin Huerter guarding whoever it is on the perimeter, Devin Booker, Steph Curry, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Fill in the blank with whoever it is. It's going to take a total team effort. And rebounding is definitely one of the things that's going to help them the most, right? Because while they're not going to all of a sudden turn into a lockdown defensive team, it's those 2 or 3 extra offensive rebounds that they give up, the loose balls.
Killed them tonight.
Yes, that's the one area where they can absolutely make a big jump immediately when it comes to defense.
It's allowing offensive rebounds and putbacks, which definitely kills this Kings team, or second chance shots where it's like the other team shoots a 3, Kings don't get the rebound, the other team gets another 3-point attempt, they get the rebound again, and they get another shot attempt. It's those multiple shot attempts where the defense is like struggling because they don't get the rebound. They're not in front of their man. Then they're scrambling to get in front of their man. It opens up a guy either under the basket or another wide open shot. And those things are just momentum killers. We saw it tonight. The Kings were on a good run. They had a couple offensive rebounds by the Timberwolves. Cut that, and the Timberwolves go on like a 10-0 run. And it's like the Kings spent so much energy trying to come back from 17 down. And it just happens again and again and again. So I think rebounding is absolutely key. Somebody wants to see my California tattoo. Request in a super chat, and it might happen. I want to talk about the bench. I saw somebody mention Kessler Edwards here in the chat, Calvin. Everyone wants to talk about Kessler Edwards tonight. 14 minutes for him. I thought he played great defense on Anthony Edwards.
He did.
What are you seeing out of Kessler Edwards? And I think this is the most we've actually seen him in a Kings jersey so far. It's a little early. But, what kind of player is Kessler Edwards? What can he be?
Well, he can be a 3-and-D guy, a productive defensive wing in this league. I mean, he doesn't have the same body type, but somebody kind of like a Jay Crowder, right? A guy that's used to guard multiple different positions, primary defender, on whoever the main guy is on that night. and is also somebody that can stretch the floor. I think he has the ability to put it.
Jesus, you're cracking me up.
I think he has the ability to put it on the floor a little bit as well. But I'll tell you what I was impressed with about him the most. I mean, yes, the on-ball defense on Anthony Edwards was really great. But for a guy that really hasn't played much at all this season, hasn't played very much at all with this Kings team, to get thrown into that situation, and for a young guy too, he didn't bat an eye. He was ready for the moment, even hit that big three when the ball swings to him. Wide open shot, that's something that you've got to take, right? Was ready for it, stepped up, knocks it down. That's the sign of, a guy that is he's ready for the moment. So that's what I liked the most out of him. We know the reason they went and got him was because he is a good perimeter defender, or that's what he's known for, right?
Yep.
So even though you like to see that, I'm not as impressed with that as the fact that hasn't played that much this year and was ready when his name was called on in the fourth quarter of a close game.
I like guys like that have played with superstars and they know their role. Like Kessler Edwards, whatever he becomes for this Kings team, like the dude is going to know his role, which I think is really, really important, especially for role players that are playing limited minutes of action. I don't think he's going to be a guy you have to worry about in the locker room. He's not a guy you got to worry about, messing up chemistry or anything like that. He's just straight up like, you're not the best player on this team. You're not one of the best 5 players on this team, but there's going to be situations where we need you and we're going to throw you out there and we need you to do your best. And I think that's exactly what he's going to do. Is there an NBA player that you want to compare him to? Does he remind you of anybody? I know it's so limited in action. It's really hard.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think there are a lot of players in the NBA today that are solid 3-and-D guys. Like I said, I think he has, the ability to put the ball on the floor and create a little bit as well. But having the NBA experience, like you mentioned, that he has up to this point, playing with guys like Kevin Durant, all that stuff, I think that he fits the mold of a 3-and-D player that's going to be a good role player and help teams win.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited for what he can bring to this Kings team. That's for sure. That is for sure.
Isn't Jalen McDaniels on Charlotte Key Kings? Or am I thinking of somebody else?
Who?
Jalen McDaniels, Jaden's twin.
Yeah.
I think he plays for Charlotte, right?
Let's ask the almighty Google.
Oh, he got traded. I didn't even know that. There you go. He's in Philly now.
Jalen McDaniels. He is currently with, it says Charlotte Hornets. Let me double check here. Google doesn't know everything, Calvin. Yeah, Philadelphia. He's played 8 games. Hasn't started a game yet. Interesting. What does he say? Jesus says, what the hell is this badge for? Hey, it evolves, Jesus. Keep your eye on that basketball. Keep your eyes on the ball. It changes for how long you remember, and maybe you unlock even more perks. But me stripping on a live stream, I don't know if $1.99 is worth it.
Like Dennis said, you got to subscribe to the Royal Rebounds OnlyFans account for that.
Yes, coming soon. Definitely coming soon. I miss Barry's sweater. Dude, it was getting hot in here, man. It was getting really, really hot. But hey, it's an awesome sweater if you want to pick one up on RoyalRebounds.com. I want to talk about Trey Lyles, 19 minutes of action. Dude, this stream, Calvin, we've just been talking for a long time. I noticed the last stream, like I just look up and we've been going for like 2 hours. I'm like, what the hell? I still want to talk about the Grizzlies and a bunch of other things. We got to talk about the next game, about the Pelicans. So let's kind of try and run through the rest of this bench. I don't want to diss anybody here and not give them the credit they deserve. But let's talk about Trey Lyles, because 3 of 4 from the field, 15 points tonight, 8 rebounds. Trey Lyles has been absolutely huge for the Kings. Early on in the season, I think I circled him and I was like, this guy is the perfect backup for Sabonis. He's the guy that should be out there when Sabonis isn't there. It allows the Kings to play a very similar playing style, and I love what he brings defensively. And then he's started to make the 3 a lot more too. So what are you seeing out of Trey Lyles? What do you think he did tonight? And, how are you feeling about him overall?
Overall, I still feel good about him. I think that he's definitely one of the most important bench players. I've said this multiple times. He's a guy that fits in seamlessly with the second unit and the starting unit. And you've seen that multiple times from the fact that he closes games for this team, for Mike Brown. So I really liked the fact that he was able to stretch the defense tonight, made a few threes. Offensively, he's been in a pretty good rhythm lately. The rebounds are big too. Battling inside eight rebounds is big against a team, with as much size like Minnesota, who didn't even have a guy like Karl Anthony Towns. And they're still out there playing, very, very big, long lineups.
How many lives has that cat got?
Right? I don't even know what the update is on him. I think they said they hope he's going to be back with like 15 games left maybe or something.
I'm going to do some research real quick.
I do think that Trey Lyles wasn't the only guy that got hurt, obviously, on the perimeter tonight. Kyle Anderson absolutely destroyed Sacramento with his ability to get to the basket and ones, layups, pump fakes, and he was doing it to everybody. So, and that's a guy that, in theory, the Kings should be able to stay with, right? Because he's not known for his speed, but he was still able to break down the defense. He's a very
handicapped,
very crafty player. Yeah, physically handicapped. Oh, Lane's back. You want to tell him that it's his fault now?
Yeah, Lane is bad luck for the Kings, I think. Lane, how many games have you gone to? Two games this year? Did they lose both of those games? I'm curious. I am curious. I'm trying to find an update here on Karl Anthony Towns. It says
6 or 7 games this year. Man, you're a super fan.
How many have they won?
That's true. One of them was with us. And they lost that game.
And they lost. Lane might be the bad luck charm, huh? It says here that they're looking for a second opinion and potentially a second doctor. Wow.
That's not good.
That's not good at all.
Not good at all.
They said that he got injured in late November. They thought he had a chance to be back by late January. Then they thought, well, February. It's March. He still hasn't practiced with the team. Wow, that's crazy. At this point, they're looking at mid-March. So 2 weeks from now, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. I think they're going to push that one back too. All right, anything else you want to talk about the bench? Because I want to talk about these Memphis Grizzlies.
Hey, let's, get the guns out.
Oh, man. Too soon, Calvin. Too soon. Okay, let's talk about Memphis. So, a lot of things going on in Memphis over the past couple weeks. But, hey, us Kings fans, we've been looking up at the Memphis Grizzlies saying, hey, if we can just win a couple games, if Memphis can lose a couple games here, we got a pretty good shot at the number 2 seed. And, no, I'm not talking about Marvin Bagley. I'm talking about the number 2 seed in the Western Conference. Some bad news that came out today for the Memphis Grizzlies. And no, I'm not even talking about Ja Morant. Brandon Clark officially out for the year. Achilles injury.
Yep.
That's big. That is big because, those injuries can last for a long time. He could even be in jeopardy for next season. So bummer for him. Dylan Brooks picks up another technical foul. He is suspended for the next game. That's huge. And then, of course, let's talk about this Ja Morant situation. As Dennis says, this is good news for the Sacramento Kings, but we don't like to root injuries or bad things or anything like that happening to other players. We just want to win games ourselves and play basketball well ourselves and get into the playoffs for that reason. But let's talk about this Ja Morant situation, which is actually interesting, Calvin, because we were going to talk about it last night, and then we just got rambling like we normally do, talked about a bunch of different things, and then all of a sudden, 2 hours had gone by, and we're like, okay, let's end the show. Without giving the update of today, do you want to remind everyone what we were going to talk about last night? What were the issues?
Well, he's been under fire, no pun intended, all season long.
Dude, you're killing it, Calvin.
Because of multiple incidents. Back in September, he allegedly gets into it with this kid at some basketball camp, a teenager.
At his house.
The family. Oh, I thought it was at a camp.
At Ja
Was
Morant's
at his
house.
But was it a basketball camp at his house?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Anyway, the kid's family is suing him now because he allegedly punched the kid multiple times.
Yep.
And threatened him with a gun.
Went in his house, came out with a gun.
Yes. So that is an ongoing thing. And the details of that lawsuit are closed right now, I think, because it's a civil suit or something like that.
NBA did an investigation.
I don't want to say anything that is
wrong. They didn't find
here,
any
so.
proof. I'm sure Ja Morant has security cameras at his house, but
on top of that, the NBA
probably did the Aaron Hernandez and didn't give him up.
Oh man, maybe that's a little too much.
I didn't
right
want
there.
to go there.
Too heavy. But on top of that, the NBA also is investigating an incident that took place in Indianapolis where Ja and his posse allegedly got in it. Yeah, that was the word that they used.
Who used?
The people reporting the story.
Okay, interesting. How many?
Their words,
how
not
many
mine.
is in a posse?
I don't know.
Okay.
More than 3? Because that's a threesome.
What's the difference between a posse and a group?
3 is a crowd. 4 is a posse.
Okay, keep going.
Anyway, bunch of guys with Ja in an SUV roll up to this was in Memphis, right?
This was after there was an altercation on the court.
They showed up at Indiana's team bus outside.
Yep.
Rolled past them in an SUV.
Yep.
Players on the bus say that they saw a laser pointed at them from the car.
One of the security guards.
All right. I don't think I should tell the story because clearly I don't know any of the facts.
Okay. I mean, I don't know the facts either, but
all that matters is if any of these stories are true, even just one of them, Ja Morant is an idiot, and he's going to literally blow his whole life. He's going to be out of the NBA.
Yeah. So both of these incidents were investigated by the NBA. Both of them, Ja Morant and his representatives said that they didn't happen. There was no proof, all that stuff. And I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. I mean, it is interesting when you start to hear things kind of pile up and you're like, okay, I gave you the benefit of doubt on this situation, but then this is like a totally unrelated situation, and it sounds like a very similar situation reported by somebody differently. Well, last night or early this morning, depending on where you're at, Ja Morant took a Instagram live while he was in a nightclub and singing a song and flashed a gun. I mean, I don't know if that's legal or illegal or not. He definitely seemed intoxicated in the video, lost to the Denver Nuggets last night. But yet again, there is another gun involved in this situation. And this time, there's proof that there's a gun. And Ja Morant was the one that gave the proof, which is very, very interesting. If I was Ja Morant's lawyer, if I was his agent, if I was any of those people, I would have the biggest headache in the world right now. And I would be like, really? We have 3 ongoing investigations and then this happens? This is just after a summer where he signs a $200+ million deal. This is just after he signed a huge shoe deal with Nike. I mean, Calvin, he's officially been suspended or will be away from the team for the next 2 games at a minimum. But this is a big situation, man. I mean, give me your thoughts on this whole thing.
It's really sad, honestly. I mean, maybe he gets cleared of all this stuff and, life goes on for him relatively normally. But I've been a huge fan of his since he was in college.
Yeah.
I was really big on him coming out of the draft. A lot of people weren't maybe decided on whether or not he was going to be a superstar or worth, a top 5 pick at that point. I was all in on him. I've been really a huge fan of his game for a long, long time. I love watching him play.
Amazing player.
It's really sad if he throws away what could be a phenomenal career because he wants he wants to have this public perception of himself.
Yeah.
That this is an attitude that he wants to carry on. And it's so consistent with everything that the Grizzlies are doing on the floor, right? Like all these plays by Dylan Brooks, the terrible foul on Donovan Mitchell, the unnecessary roughness. They want people to perceive them this way.
Why does everybody hate us?
Yeah. It's just really unfortunate. I think that he is a young guy who's immature. He's probably hanging out with the wrong group of people. I think you can point a lot of blame at his father.
You're pointing things now.
I am pointing blame at his father.
Okay.
Look, that guy is as courtside at every game. He also seems to have wants that type of perception of himself. He's always walking around with his hood on and sunglasses on.
Okay.
I'm not.
I was just wearing a hood.
Not blaming. Yeah, but you weren't wearing sunglasses indoors.
Okay. Is that illegal?
It's not illegal, but that's not the point here.
Okay.
Just like you said, I don't know if it's illegal for him to have the gun in the club or not. He probably has a concealed weapons license.
I honestly don't give a shit about the gun in the club. Like, that is whatever.
But that's not the point.
But that for me is like,
if
that shows that the other situations probably happen.
You've got 2 pending investigations,
exactly,
resulting in the possibility of you having a gun and pointing it at someone.
Yep.
You can't be walking around in the club with a gun and putting it on your Instagram Live.
Yep.
It's just the wrong perception for everybody.
Yep, that's exactly what does it for me too, because if it was just an isolated incident.
That's why I'm saying you can point blame at his father, because
okay,
that people who are close to him, people who are his friends, if they were really his friends or really people that loved and cared about him, they would be telling him that he's got to stop this shit.
Oh, they're gone when the money's gone.
Exactly. So I think it's a combination of a lot of things. He's probably hanging out with the wrong people, and they're influencing him. Money is influencing him. All of the stuff, fame may be influencing him a little bit. It's just the whole situation is very unfortunate.
Yeah. Get some security, man. If you're afraid, if you need protection, get security, man. You just signed a $200 million deal. Like, do something else. Do something else. And like I said, yeah, maybe the gun in the club is illegal or whatever it is. I'm not really sure. But for me, if that was just one isolated incident, I'm like, you're an idiot. Why would you do that? And you move on. But the fact that all these other issues kind of point to the same thing makes me think that those other issues really happened. And that is a problem.
Yeah,
because
it's very troublesome.
And I've looked all over social media, and I saw people on both sides, right? Well, he didn't hurt anybody. Nobody's been shot, blah, 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 whatever. Well, I mean, according to that kid, he did get hurt. He got punched in the face. Not that he got shot or anything like that, but it's like starting to see this like pattern. And this is like, dude, this is all in less than a year.
Yeah.
This is like 6 months. All these incidents have happened over and over and over again. And this is a guy that has everything in the world to lose. Everything in the world to lose. And the fact that he had 2 or 3 pending investigations currently ongoing, and he's acting like this while he's under investigation is even crazier to me. And, I mean, we saw the statement released today. I mean, I don't know if that's from him. I don't know if that's from his representatives. That was the thing that he's supposed to say. Honestly, I don't know I don't know him, so I don't know if he has any remorse. I don't know if he's because you know there's people that are sorry, and then there's people that are sorry because they got caught, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if I don't know if it's clicked in his head that it's like that is not okay, or if he's just kind of like, oh, I shouldn't have shown them that. You know what I mean?
It's hard to tell.
And it's a really, really tough situation because, like you said, John Moran is a fantastic basketball player. He's an amazing player. But at the same time, Calvin, we forget a lot of times that we're enamored with these people for one small aspect of their life, and that's the fact that they're good at a game. It doesn't make them good people. It doesn't make them bad people either, but I'm just saying they're good at one thing. Just because we know his name and he's good at one thing doesn't make him a good person. Doesn't make him treat other people well. It doesn't mean that he is not going to hurt people or anything like that. Like, we really, really don't know him at all as a person. And that's the toughest part. The people that do know him are the ones that need to be stepping in right now and telling him what is at risk, what's on the line. I mean, the deal that he got from Nike was just Kyrie Irving's deal.
Yeah.
And that got dropped because of a tweet that Kyrie made. And that
About
tweet
a movie.
didn't even involve a gun.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're Nike, what are you doing right now?
That's a hard question to answer.
I'm looking at Anthony Edwards.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
And I'm saying this guy's said all the right things. He's an incredible player. I might move on from Ja.
I think that that's a very plausible explanation. It's hard to argue with that. I mean, look at the two guys. They're not both with Nike. One of them is, but the two guys that have been the face of the NBA for the last 20 years.
Yeah. No issues.
LeBron James and Steph Curry.
No issues.
No issues whatsoever.
Yeah. Is Steph Curry with Nike?
No, he's with, I said he's not.
Under
He's
Armour,
with Under
right?
Armour. But
Yeah. I mean, Kobe too, right?
Kobe had some issues.
One issue. No guns, no violence.
Yeah,
nothing
well,
like that.
Rape can be considered violence.
Yeah, you're right. I don't want to comment on that.
Yeah, I think that's a road that we don't want to go down.
Definitely a slippery slope. But, I mean, this whole story is just incredible, and it seems to be getting worse and worse by the day. What does this mean for the Grizzlies?
Man, that's the even bigger question, right? I mean, first of all, it's not known exactly how many games John Moran is going to miss. They said it'll be at least 2.
Yeah.
Maybe it's more than that.
Yeah. And
they already lost Brandon Clark.
Yeah.
Without Ja, I mean, they still have a really good team. They haven't had Steven Adams for a long time either. They're in a little bit of a dangerous situation. Luckily, they've got a bunch of cushion, right, because they've been in the 2 seed for a while. So I couldn't see them completely missing the playoffs or falling into the play-in tournament. That would be just an absolute ridiculous drop.
Ninja says maybe Nike goes with Fox.
Maybe.
Dude,
I think there's a lot of options out there, right?
So many fucking shoes. If De'Aaron Fox got a Nike deal, it would be insane. It would be insane. I would buy so many shoes.
Yeah.
So many shoes. I mean, the statement that came out by him, it followed up with, I'm stepping away to figure out better ways to deal with stress, right?
Yes.
Which, I mean, dude, if you can figure that out in 2 games, you're a much better person than me.
Right?
You're a much better person than me. And they said 2 games at a minimum. And here's the thing, Calvin, is we've seen, and I don't want to compare the Draymond Green incident to this because it's a completely different incident, but I'm just saying from the team's perspective, the team chose not to suspend Draymond, right? Because suspending Draymond hurts the basketball team. And I argued that not suspending him hurt the basketball team, and we see where the Warriors are at now. But if you're the Memphis Grizzlies, this is your star player. Like you said, they could potentially go on a pretty decent losing streak here. And, I mean, I'm looking at the standings. They got 38 wins. The Lakers got 30 wins, and they're in the 11th spot. So 8 wins, they're out. You know what I mean? And so if you're the Grizzlies, do you really look at this and say, our star player needs help? We don't want to rush him back. This season is not as important as having this guy available for the rest of his career because he's our star player and he's not in the right mindset. I mean, we've seen him get in altercations with people sitting courtside, famous people.
Yeah.
We've seen him get in altercations with other players. Then we've heard about the incident in the SUV, then with a 17-year-old kid at his house. Like, this does not seem to be like a guy that's dealing with things in the right way.
Absolutely. And I think that if you're looking at this from the team perspective for the long term, then that probably is the right decision to just basically shut it down and say, this has got to get corrected. He's too much of an investment for us. He's still very, very young. We have, so many opportunities here in the long run to be good and compete for a championship. Let's not throw the entire thing away for that. How many times do we see in professional sports people make that decision, though?
Yeah.
Not very many.
It's true. I mean, if I were to look at incidents and it's really hard because there's not a lot that are similar to this, but I mean, I would look at the Wizards. The Wizards is basically the only team you could look at. And there's a couple incidents there. There's the John Wall flashing the gang signs, right? There was that thing that came out. I don't think there was even a gun involved in that, right? It was just
not that I know of.
It was just a picture of him flashing gang signs. Yeah. I mean, yes, he was not a 23-year-old version of himself. He was injury riddled and towards the end of his career, grossly overpaid. They dropped him right after that, right? Then you have the Gilbert Arenas and Javaris Critton situation where there was an actual gun involved and the gun was
in the locker room
on property, right?
Yeah.
But if it's true with him pointing a gun at, or one of his group members pointing a gun at a security guard at the Pacers arena, that's pretty similar.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
And we all saw what happened to Javaris. I mean, is he dead or he's in prison right now? Didn't he kill somebody?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he killed somebody after the whole blow up. Like, he got cut. Then I'm pretty sure he killed somebody and he's in jail or something like that, but it did not end well for him. Gilbert Arenas, I think, did okay in that situation. But at the same time, he was similar to John Wall, right? He was in the end of his career. He was grossly overpaid, dealt with a ton of injuries. This guy is 23 years old. He's the franchise player. He just signed this huge deal. And he's incredible on the basketball court, and he's been incredibly healthy. Even when he does suffer an injury, he comes back incredibly fast. So, I mean, what do you do if you're the Grizzlies?
Man,
that's a tough question.
That's a very, very tough question. Yeah. I like I said before, I think that if they obviously know what his mental state is better than I do, being able to talk to him every day. And if he's even the slightest bit honest with them about it doesn't even have to be that he admits to pulling a gun, in any of these situations, just admitting the fact, like he said in his statement, that he needs to find different ways to deal with stress. If you're going to be one of the faces of the NBA for the next 10 years, you're going to deal with a lot of stress. So if I'm the Grizzlies and I've committed over $200 million to this person or this asset, if you want to look at it like that, that's a major investment. So I'm probably going to make the decision to, preserve the best possible outcome for the long run instead of just the next 2 months.
Yeah.
But like I also said before that, how many times in professional sports do you see that happen? Where a guy hasn't been convicted of anything yet, but the team is going to say, who has a chance to compete for a title, the team is going to say, you know what, we're shutting you down because we don't feel that you're mentally stable or whatever the case is at this point. I don't believe that happens right now. I really don't.
And does shutting him down, does that even help him? Or does that give him more time to hang out with maybe these people that are acting like this?
It could.
Yeah.
It could.
It's really, really a tough situation. I feel for the Grizzlies. I feel for the Grizzlies fans. And I actually feel for John Morant because I think that, I don't think he is an idiot, but I think he's done some really stupid things. And I think that there's always a cause and a reason for things. And I don't know what the reason is for him. But there's a hole inside or there's some issue that's going on that's creating him to act like this. So really, really a tough situation. And hopefully they figure it out. This is definitely going to be a story that we need to be monitoring. I mean, any other words on that situation? I mean, obviously, this doesn't feel good to say, but this is good for the Kings. That the Grizzlies lost Brandon Clark. The Dylan Brooks is going to be suspended now for every additional technical foul, and whatever else is going on with Ja Morant. It is a positive for the Kings in terms of placement in the Western Conference, but you don't like to see it happen like this.
No, definitely not.
Not at all.
I mean, this is a team that after last year's playoff run, I think most people expected them to be not just around, but be one of the top contending teams for a long time, assuming that they were able to keep that core together. Everything seemed to be, on the right trending upward sort of a thing. And to think that it could come crashing down like in the blink of an eye, not because of stuff happening on the court, is pretty incredible.
And what do you think if you're his teammates? I mean, you got to think that if you're his teammate, you probably know him a little bit better than maybe the general manager or maybe some of these other people. So maybe you've seen something like this coming, or maybe you haven't. I don't know. I like to think of Steven Adams as a pretty level-headed guy that probably wouldn't tolerate stuff like that. But then again, I don't know any of these guys, right? I'm just a fan that enjoys watching them play basketball. All right, let's move on here. Next game is against the New Orleans Pelicans. This is a home game on Friday. And Calvin, our next two games are on national television. I mean, if you consider NBA TV. So NBA TV on Monday and TNT against the Knicks on Thursday. Calvin, give me your first thoughts to this game against the Pelicans. Obviously, the last showing against New Orleans was absolutely brutal for the Kings.
Good.
I almost said Ja Morant again. No Zion Williamson. No
Brandon Ingram. No Valanciunas.
Yeah, and the Kings got worked.
No
in that
problem
game.
For
Kings
New
got
Orleans.
worked in that game.
Yeah.
No De'Aaron Fox either for that game.
Yeah.
So give me your first thoughts on this matchup on Monday.
Well, I think it's going to be a very different game, obviously. I mean, you've got not all of those guys back, but a handful of those guys are going to be playing in this game. And that game was towards the end of was that the 7-game road trip? The longest one they had this year?
I don't know if it was at the end or middle.
I can't remember exactly, but they had been on the road for a few games. I think they were a little tired at that point. And that was before the All-Star break as well. We all kind of said it looked like the Kings needed that
Game 5.
That break. Game 5 of the 7-game road trip. Yeah. So,
and after they just lost to Buddy Hield in the Pacers.
Yes. In a close game, another game that they probably should have won.
Yep.
So I think that this game will definitely have a much different feel to it. It's also in Sacramento, which definitely helps if you're the Kings.
Yeah, definitely something the Kings need to be prepared for. I think Zion is still out, right? We don't know when he's going to play next.
And I'm not sure about Valanciunas either.
Wow. ESPN has the Kings as 72% favorites for this game. Wow, Pelicans have Jose, GTA, my guy, is listed as out. Josh Richardson is out. Zion is out. Larry Nance Jr. is out. Valanciunas is listed as day-to-day. Rashawn Holmes is listed as out. I don't know what's going on with Rashawn, but he is listed out as well. Calvin, give me your keys to the game.
Key number 1 is play with passion. The last time these two teams played, New Orleans beat them down by 32 points. With all of those guys out, as you mentioned, it was definitely a demoralizing loss if you're the Sacramento Kings. So you're at home. You've got the crowd behind you this time. Come out right from the beginning. Shout out to Tanvir in the chat.
Yeah,
come out right from the beginning and let's get this thing going. And let's actually play, to win the game and play with passion. Number 2, home court advantage. The Pelicans are an above 500 team, much better than 500 at home, but they're not so good on the road. I don't have the updated road record, but as of a few days ago, there were 11 games under 500 on the road. So home court advantage is definitely something that the Kings can ride on in this game. And number 3 is ball movement. The Pelicans are first in the NBA at defending the 3. allowing teams to 34% from three-point range. So I think the Kings need to definitely keep the ball moving, whether it's going inside out or spreading it around the outside, ball fakes, things like that, to create some more open looks here for guys. Again, you're going to get another group of long, athletic defenders, right? Herb Jones, Najee Marshall, yeah, all these guys can come at you in waves. Even Brandon Ingram is a good long defender who can challenge shots. So Trey Murphy, the list goes on. So being able to move the ball so they can create some open looks, knock down some threes.
Yeah, all good points here. The Kings just need to capitalize. As Nick would say, they need to play defense in this game. Yes, we're all high off the 5-game winning streak. It all came crashing down tonight in the loss. Can't get too low. You got to bounce back and get ready for a game on Monday. The Kings did look tired tonight. De'Aaron Fox looked tired tonight. You do have tomorrow off, and you are at home. So I think you just, you forget about this game. You move on to the Pelicans. This could be a team you're playing in the first round of the playoffs. So you got to take this game seriously, and I love all your keys to the game. Also wanted to mention here, if the Kings do win this game, they're tied with Memphis in the win category. Memphis does play the Clippers tomorrow and the Lakers on TNT on Tuesday. So that
Knicks play the Knicks on TNT.
The Grizzlies.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. The Grizzlies play the Clippers on Sunday.
Yes.
And then they play the Lakers on Tuesday on TNT. So if the Kings are able to pick up that win on Monday, in the Clippers win tomorrow, Tuesday could be a pretty interesting game for the Kings to watch.
Absolutely could.
And Kings fans, as weird as it sounds, could be rooting for the Lakers on Tuesday, which would be really, really strange. Really, really strange.
Definitely.
But hey, shout out to everybody here in the chat. Shout out to everybody on Twitter Spaces. We appreciate you all for joining tonight on the show. And all of our brand new members to the Royal Family. Lane, your name would look great in green. I think that pretty much wraps us up for tonight, Calvin, unless you got anything else to say to the Royal Family out there.
Yeah, Barry and I have known each other for 25 years now, I think. So we met when we were 10 years old. We were roommates together in college. He moved to Hawaii way before I did. Then I followed him out here. That's the story. Davis, California, not Grass Valley, but very close.
Yeah, I
have never dated a dental assistant either.
Calvin just wanted to come visit me one time, and I was like, I'm going to get this guy. I'm going to get him real good. So I scheduled this party. It was a beer pong competition, and convinced him to move here. He was sold. As soon as he came here, we had like this awesome party. We went to the beach.
Hard not to be sold.
We had a bunch of days of like jumping off cliffs and swimming in the water and just like a beautiful time. And he's like, I'm moving to Hawaii, and I need a year to do it.
I was living in Ann Arbor, Michigan at the time too, so I was getting away from, even though it was March, I was getting away from like 30 degrees and snow. And I came out here, and I will never forget. I flew in. My flight landed after the sun had already gone down. If you've never been to Hawaii before, there's not a whole lot of light pollution or stuff that happens after the sun sets here, so you can't really see anything on the drive in. I woke up at 7 in the morning the next morning, walked outside of the house that Barry was living in at the time, has this nice pool, huge deck, overlooks the Kaanapali area, all the resorts and the beach, and I thought I was in a movie. Like I had never seen anything like that before. It didn't seem real to me. So yeah, it was very easy to be sold on moving to Hawaii, as you could probably guess.
And no, we're not dating.
No.
Anyways, thank you guys so much. We appreciate you all for joining in tonight. Please don't forget to smash up that like button, hit that subscribe button. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you all on Monday. The Red Mamba is back.